Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say very, very big welcome to our second week now, lecture two, or if we can say session two, where I'm going to be covering both a mixture of lectures and exercises mixed together, which is a new structure that we're working on. Today, I'm going to be talking about a couple of chapters. They're both important. The first one is chapter 3, which is about structure and culture. And then suddenly I'm going to go and start talking about the other chapter, which is going to be relevant for your group assignment. So what I expect you to do after today is to start working on a group assignment by relying on that information that I'm going to be giving you today. I don't want you to wait until we get to week 6, week 7, week 8 for you to start actually working on a group assignment, because that is actually the difficult approach of doing the assignment. I want you to start working on your assignment from the beginning now. So anything I cover, you're going to basically start working on it to be able to go and ensure you are able to go and reach the right outcome. So welcome again. It's always very, very good to have you in the class and to try to teach you and guide you to be able to achieve very good outcomes, not simply here in the class, but also in your future. We spoke last week about, the introduction of the course. We also spoke about the strategy and how it is important for us to be able to choose projects that are actually aligning with our strategy as a business. Today, we are going to go a step further. We're going to go and start about talking about organization. In other words, how can we organize various projects to enable us to have an appropriate structure to go and reach the right outcomes? And then after, we're going to go and talk about defining the project. When I talk about defining the project, we talk about defining the foundation of the project. What is the project charter? What is the scope? What is the work breakdown structure? All of these things that you guys are going to be including as part of your assignment. And we're also going to be applying those various exercises that are relevant for your assignment. And then next week, we're going to start talking about the calculation. I want to say that the calculation I'm going to be covering next week is going to be relevant for your midterm exam, for your quiz, which is week 4 quiz, as well as it is going to be relevant for your final exam. So from next week, I'll be doing a lot of calculations. They're all very relevant and they're all interconnected. So if you miss one particular calculation, you are going to be having an issue in terms of keeping up with the information, because it's like building a house. There's a first level of the house, and if you don't have a first level, you can't build the second level. If you don't have the second level, you can't build the third level, and so on. So it's about really looking about how you're going to go and build the structure accordingly to be able to reach the right outcome. So what am I going to go and be doing today in terms of this chapter? We're going to identify the different project management structures, understand their strength, understand their weaknesses. We're going to distinguish the different types of metric structure and understand their strength and weaknesses. We're going to touch on them, like 3 of them, but we'll talk more about them also in the activities. We can understand organizational and project consideration that should be considered in choosing an appropriate project management structure. In other words, how do I choose what structure do I actually follow when I'm doing a project? There's a functional structure, there's a metric structure, there's a project structure. Which structure am I going to be using, and why am I going to be particularly working to go and use any particular structure? We're going to appreciate the significant role that organizational culture plays in managing projects. You need to know the culture of the business. Some cultures are very much supportive for all the work we're trying to go and do in terms of delivering projects, and other cultures are not very supportive. They make basically delivering projects much more difficult, and it's very important we bear in mind about all of those differences in order for us to be able to go and reach the right outcomes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start talking about the structures. Okay, how can I really go and organize to be able to go and deliver a project within an organization? There are 3 structures to go and think about. There's what we call a functional organization, dedicated teams organization, and we talk about matrix arrangement organization. Now, let me ask you the first question. Anybody worked in an organization before, in a big organization? Actually, any organization, small or big, anybody work in an organization?
Yes, in
Where
a
do you work?
college.
Where?
In a college.
In a college.
Yeah,
In Australia or overseas?
overseas in my country
In your country. What was your job, Niraj?
as a IT manager.
IT manager.
Yeah,
So you're working as part of which department?
yeah, IT department. I only see the IT department.
Perfect. And my question to you is, are there any other departments in that college?
Yes, HR, finance,
Okay.
and many more.
Can you tell me some? So HR, finance, IT, what else?
Um, what else? Finance, accounting are in the same. So others like what department?
Marketing,
Yeah, there is.
recruitment,
Yeah, it comes in HR.
student services,
Yes, it is.
academic services.
Yeah.
All right. Now let me ask you a question. Were you delivering projects in your college?
Sorry.
Were you
Where?
delivering projects? One you were
Projects
working projects.
to the manager of the head of the, what do you call it? To our head.
Head of IT?
Um. Yeah, there is actually like we used to talk to the principal directly
Okay, but
if
let
there
me
is a.
ask you a question. That project you were working on, was
Mhm.
it done as part of the IT department? Was it a functional project management? Or were you a dedicated team that only work on projects? Or are you in between? What were you doing? How was your project managed?
Uh, it was like renovating the college computers, all the
Okay.
computers. That was our project. So it's like functional project.
Functional project. So you basically had a manager in the functional department.
Yeah.
You, as a person who work in that department, were doing projects that are related to IT only in that department. You have a functional manager to report that you've done the job, but at the end of the day, it is only part of your function, the functional department. You're not necessarily having a dedicated project team because you're working on this project, you're working on something else, you're working on something else. So you're not really simply working on that project, you're working on multiple things. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a functional organization. How is that different to a dedicated project team?
Um,
Anybody could tell me how that could be different from a dedicated project team?
they'll do the things which are assigned directly without any further discussion. I mean, they will, like, if they have to install a new computer, they will straight away come and install a new one, rather than asking for what is to do. They
Yeah.
will just complete the job first
Okay,
and get it.
that is, I actually agree. So the way that the dedicated project department works, I'm going to give you a example from my work in industry. I was working for a for Career One. Have you heard of seek.com.au?
Sick. Yeah.
Okay, Seek had a competitor called Career One. I was working in Career One. We had so many departments. We had sales, we had marketing, we had HR, we had IT. We had so many various departments. Now, in our IT department, we had multiple departments. And in these departments, we had multiple project teams. So we had people from the business coming and telling us what needs to be done. For example, one of the things we needed to do, we needed to find a new way of us going and processing all of our jobs whenever they get published or sent to us by our customers. So what happened? We needed to go and create a system. This came from the business that said, we need the system to go and be developed for us. So what have we done? As a result of that, We basically went and had a team in IT, actually more than one project team, but we had a project team which had a project manager, which had people as part of that team, and people's jobs in that team was only and only to focus on delivering that particular project. Don't do anything else. All their job is to go and work on delivering a particular project. That is what we call a dedicated project team, a team who's only dedicated to work on a project that basically has been pushed to us and requested by the business. We are trying to solve and serve a particular customer needs, and our team is solely dedicated as a team to go and work on a particular project. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Great. Let me go and continue now with the last sort of structure, which is what we call the matrix arrangement. So as I said, the third arrangement is what we call the matrix arrangement. The matrix arrangement is a hybrid organizational form in which we have a horizontal management structure overlaid on a normal functional structure. What does that mean? It means I have people who basically have two managers. They still have a job. Like, for example, I could say, let's say an example of someone who works in marketing. Someone who works in marketing might be doing two jobs, might be working from one side on an IT project with the IT department. So that person might be involved in a project team to be able to go and deliver a particular project by working with other employees in the actual organization. But at the same time, that same marketing employee will also be having a manager, which is what we call the functional manager. So he'll also be having a job in the marketing department, and that job in the marketing department would be to go and actually do the normal job that needs to go to be done to be able to go and ensure the normal marketing roles needs to go and be completed. So two things for us to go and really bear in mind. It's about thinking about both of these arrangements together. And I'll show you some examples of all of these various structures that we need to go and really bear in mind. So let's start talking about every one of these arrangements. Or, functional organization. What is a functional organization? Functional organization, as I mentioned earlier, it's simply about going and actually working and delivering project as part of your normal function. Now, why is this a good structure? Because it's simply very easy to manage. Simply, basically, you keep on working in your normal department. If it's an IT department, a sales department, a marketing department, whatever department it is, you continue working with your department. And as you are working with your department, you are actually able to go and deliver any task that might need to go and be completed. We have our colleague just mentioned earlier, was it Niraj? He said, I was working in my college and I had some tasks being pushed to me by my manager, and we needed to go and install things, and that's IT project. But they still had so many other work, but he's still working in a department and he's doing multiple roles. And what some of those jobs were related to completing some tasks that are related to the project, like install a new system, install the software, whatever it is, they are all a part of the projects we try to go and deliver within the organization. Different segments of the project are delegated to respective functional units. What does that mean? Well, sometimes a project might need to go and pass through more than one department. For example, for Niraj to be able to go and understand what needs to go and be done in terms of the IT projects, in terms of the computers, this needs to go first to other departments. For example, you might need to go to the sales department and ask the sales department, what do they need? You need to collect all of their requirements, collect all of this information. They need to finish that job. And when they finish their part of the project, they basically move it to you, to the IT, so that IT will start fulfilling all of these work that needs to go and really be completed. So it's basically about moving across more than one section of the project. Coordination is maintained through the normal management channel. What does that mean? Who manages the marketing department? Well, the marketing manager. Who manages sales department? The sales manager. Who manages the IT department? The IT manager. So everything is still being coordinated through the normal management that we basically already are using in the organization. Why? When do we actually use a functional sort of organization? It's used when one functional area plays a dominant role in completing the project or has a dominant interest in its success. For example, we want to go and install a new website or create a new website, and it's typically the IT department might have a bigger interest in that and more interest, and they will basically take a leading role into the delivery of that particular project. That's an example of the functional organization. We might be having a project that basically have so many departments involved. To be able to get that project done, we basically we don't really have anyone who's really strongly in charge, but it's all about basically trying to think, how do we go and work on it? You know, things might go from marketing to engineering to manufacturing to procurement, and there's not really someone who's fully focused on the project. Sometimes, you know, you might have one department, but a lot of times there's not a lot of focus on the job. There's not a lot of focus on ensuring the job gets done appropriately, and things start moving from one department to another department to another department. And sometimes we kind of lose the focus on ensuring the quality of the project gets delivered. Things might get to the procurement department, they finish it and they deliver the project, but it turns out to be the bad quality. So we come and claim the procurement, say you haven't done your job correctly. But in reality, guys, it could be any one of those other departments who might not have really focused on that project because they still have their normal roles, and they might not have shown a lot of interest on ensuring they are going to be delivering the job appropriately. Does that make sense, guys? Any questions? So just want to mention one very, very important thing, guys. From next week's, all the calculations are going to be starting in my class. The calculations will be tested in your week 4 quiz, in your midterm quiz, and in your final exam quiz. It is basically equal almost 50% of your accumulated marks for the subject. If you don't come and you don't engage into every activity I give you in the classroom, you will find it very, very difficult to be able to go and pass those quizzes or the midterm or even the final. I will tell you from experience, last semester I had a student who only got 1 over 15 on the midterm exam because they were not fully focusing on the activities. Because when I go and start giving you calculations, for example, next week, like I've done last week and like I'm doing this week, I'm going to give you time to be able to go and engage in some activities. We're going to give you some guidance. And that will help you to go and ensure you're going to learn and apply the calculations. So please make sure you take a full focus on that, and you make sure you're coming on time and you fully focus on my class for every week, especially for the next 4 or 5 weeks where I'm going to be doing a lot of calculations. A dedicated project team operate as a separate unit under the leadership of a full-time project manager. So there's one person fully in charge of the project. Usually a full-time project manager pulls together the specialists. They usually choose their specialists. They usually make them work full-time on that project. They recruit them internally and externally. And they would usually say, let me go and select the best people. But the best people are who? Those who have the skills and those who are interested in actually coming and in working and joining my team. If they're not interested, it's an issue. We need to make sure they're interested. We need to make sure that they want to work in a team, because that means they are going to be showing much more dedication with the work they're trying to go and really do. Teams are physically separated from the parent organization. So you have a team working by themselves. You have all of these other departments in the business, but this team is working together to get that job done. In a projectized organization where projects are the dominant form of business, you still have functional department. You still have marketing, you still have HR, you still have IT, you still have sales, but usually functional department do exist so that they can support a lot of times the project into any information that they actually need to be able to go and get the job done. So it looks like this. I have my marketing department, my finance, my human resource, my legal department. They all still exist. They're all there. But I also have dedicated project teams. And these dedicated project teams has dedicated resources that are fully and only working on that project under the leadership of a particular project manager. And there will be one project manager for different projects. So one project manager here, one project manager here, and those resources are usually fully working on simply one project, not on more than one project. So the people here are working on alpha project, the people here are working on a beta project, and that's to ensure we are able to go and really reach the right outcome. Finally, there's a matrix structure. And when I talk about the matrix structure, we talk about a weak matrix, a balanced matrix, and a strong matrix. And what the difference between those is how much power is available either to the project manager or to the functional manager. In this example, we have people who are both working on two things. They are working on the actual work that is available for the functional department, and they are also working on the work that is available for the project department. So you have work in the functional area. I could be working in IT, and I have all of these tasks that we need to do in the IT department, and all of these tasks relates to my manager, who I have to kind of work with my functional manager, the IT manager, to be able to go and do all the tasks that that manager is asking me to. But at the same time, I am part of a project team. So I also have a responsibility to go and work on that project team that I am now a member of, although it's not on a full-time capacity, and still ensure that I'm going to go and get the work that needs to go and be completed actually done. Project participants reports to two people. Now, why is this a good method? It's a good method because it allows people to work on their functional department. And if, let's say, they not fully busy, they can also work on their projects. They could be working on more than one project to be able to go and fill their time completely to be able to go and get the job done. So allow for participation on multiple projects while performing normal functional duties. Achieves a greater integration of expertise and project requirements. So if I go and say project A requires people in marketing and people's in IT, we go and get people's in marketing and IT working on our project. If I say project 2 requires people from sales and HR, we get people from sales and HR to be actually involved, in addition to working on their normal department work. So it looks like this. I have, my HR, I have my finance, I have my engineering, manufacturing, marketing, whatever they are. Each of these departments have a manager. Each of these departments do have employees working on the tasks that are related to those particular departments. But at the same time, each of these employees are also assigned in some capacity to a particular project. So someone who works in engineering and manufacturing and in marketing might also be working on project A. Okay, so they'll be having to do their job in engineering, in manufacturing, and in marketing, but also they have to go and ensure they do their work on this particular project. For example, in this example, I have a project manager. I have two people from design, one from electronics, but I have half a person from testing. Now that half a person from testing could be also working on another project, or could be working, let's say, in an IT department to be able to do other work. But you can see there's one project manager here, one project manager here, one project manager here, but at the same time, there are also managers for each of these departments. And the people who are usually working on these projects are also working on their functional work whenever they are needed, as they are needed. So we need to bear in mind how we really go and work in that particular environment. It's good because we can actually maximize the use of our resources. but there's a different type of a matrix structure. There's a weak structure where the power is mainly in the hands of the functional manager, such as, let's say, the finance manager, and less power in the actual managers, the project managers who needs to deliver the project. So, while you might, as a project manager, require this work to be done, if you are in a weak matrix, you can't get the job done unless the manager of the functional department really instructs a team to go and also work and do the project work appropriately. In a balanced matrix, the power is both with the actual functional manager and the project manager. So they both have a balanced power, and they try to go and influence the employees accordingly to be able to get the job done. And finally, if I go and talk on a strong matrix environment, it means I'm having the project manager, and that project manager is really the one who have more the power, and the functional manager is more there that has to go and kind of be guided by what the actual project manager goes and say that needs to go and really be completed. Any questions, my friends? I've just explained to you about the various structures that are available when I'm trying to go and work on delivering a project. Now, what I'm going to do now, I want to go and make sure you guys have a chance to go and apply what I've just explained now for you. And you notice that every time I do an exercise or I do some work, we basically go and actually try to apply that work. And one of the activities we're going to go and try to do. So now, ladies and gentlemen, that is your activity. So I'll give you a few minutes to have a read through that. So let's go into two groups. And as I said, I want you to go and try to get me the responses. I want you to tell me your idea. If you're going to say we should use a matrix structure, you have to tell me, why should I use a matrix structure? If you say we should be using another structure, you have to try to provide a convincing reasons on why you believe we need to go and use one structure versus the other. So I'm going to go and put you into random groups now. I would like you to work together on those activities, and then ask yourself this question. You might need more information. You might have, something you need to go and ask about that will help you to go and make a decision and recommend a specific structure. So think about this, get some questions in mind, try to tell me what you're thinking. How did you guys decide whether we need to go and use one structure versus the other? So I'm going to put you into breakout rooms now to have a discussion, and then I'm going to bring you back to discuss this here. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, sir. Good. How are you, sir?
Good. I actually just came from the other group, and the guys are doing a great job discussing things. So I want to come and ask you guys to see how are we going with the discussion?
Yeah,
Good.
we discussed already.
You're finished. You're like super people. Perfect. So what did you guys decide?
So we decided like matrix arrangement will be the best for that company.
Yeah.
So that the person who has knowledge from inside, like the functional department, they can use that person, and they can hire like the project manager, the person who is more focused on the binoculars one.
All right. I'm going to stop for a second. I mentioned 3 types of matrix arrangements today. I mentioned a weak matrix, a strong matrix, and a balanced matrix. And I said in a weak matrix, the person who is more in charge is the functional manager, and a person who have little power is the project manager. I mentioned the balanced matrix where they both have the same sort of power. And I mentioned a strong matrix where the project manager have more power than functional manager. So if you're going to go and say a matrix, I want to know which sort of matrix, and want to understand why you believe one sort of matrix is going to be more appropriate than the other. And I also want to know what sort of information would you like to have to really make your recommendation. So what do you think?
We will discuss this again with our team.
That's okay. I'm here. Can I be part of your team for now?
Yes.
All right. What do you think? Let's go, guys. I'm your friend. I just want to make sure you're happy and you learn.
So, Kusal, what do you think?
I think it's better to go with a balanced matrix, because if you go in the strong matrix, that functional manager can go head of project manager.
Mhm.
Then we if we go in the balance matrix, they are in like a same level, right?
Yeah.
So it
Right.
would be good for the development for the binocular.
What do you
Yeah.
think?
That's my idea. What do you think, guys?
I think yes, it will be balanced because they can use their knowledge from the like the rifles one and the project manager. Both if they work together, then it will be great for that company, I think.
Do you think we need any more information to make some decisions?
Um,
Like both can do the decisions, like manage the has he told like project manager and other combined.
Yeah, no, but what sort of information do we need as people to be able to answer that question? Do you believe you have all the information you need to decide which structure is going to be the best?
The balancing one.
But how come? How did you make that decision? What sort of information help you decide that it's a balanced one?
Mm,
Actually, I decide based on the that functional manager and project manager things, right? At, but I need to seek other options as well, other details as well.
Yeah, look, there could be other options. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you all guys together. Let's further discuss it as a group now. But it's very, very good. Thank you for having a go. I really appreciate that. Let's just close the room, go to the main room and have further discussion then. All righty?
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
thank you,
you.
sir.
No worries. All righty, let's just make sure we have everybody back in the room. Anybody haven't joined us back yet? All right. Yeah, I think we've lost someone, but it's all good. All right, guys. So we were asking the question, what sort of project management structure would you recommend for this project? Guys, what sort of questions do you reckon we need to ask to make that decision? What should we know? What will help us to answer that question?
Mm,
Let me ask you this question. If the project is very, very important for the long-term success of this company, which structure would you use? If the project is very important for the long-term success of the company, which project structure would you use?
dedicated
Dedicated. Why would you do that?
because it's like long-term success, and if the project is like dedicated, then in future it will be helpful for the company.
Okay, great. What if we are working in a culture where the people won't help others unless they have the authority? Which structure would you use then? If people in the department, if the culture means that people won't support you unless you have the authority, which structure do you reckon we should go and use there? Project, functional, matrix, what do you think? You guys were discussing various structures. Which structures did you guys say we need to go and do? You said matrix. Anybody said matrix here?
Yes,
Okay, which matrix you said?
we said balanced.
Balance matrix. I'm not a big fan of the balance matrix because the balance matrix, if you have two people and both of those people have the power, you would usually have the employees very stressed and you would have people conflicting a lot of time together, which might not help the project to go and progress. I'm either more for a weak matrix or a strong matrix? Because in either of those examples, we usually have someone who is fully focused and in charge of ensuring a work is basically going to go and be done. I think we should ask ourselves this question when we are going to be deciding which structure should we be using. We should ask ourselves, how important is project management for this company? In this example, the company appears to have a stable product. They've been there for 20 years. They have basically all of these stable products that they have for a long period of time. It does not seem to me, from what the information we have, that they are actually engaging a lot into producing new products. If they are not engaging too much in producing new products, and if they do not do a lot of project management, I think it's good to have a functional, a matrix structure, as long as we are using a sort of weak matrix structure where the power is going to be more in the actual hands of the actual functional manager, because they can actually ensure the job is going to be continuing to get done. And we know the projects are not very important for the long term. If you want success of the company, they don't engage in so many projects, and they won't actually do many projects in the future. If we are talking about a culture of the business, what if the culture of the business is not supportive of us delivering new projects? What if informal collaboration and teamwork won't be encouraged, or won't happen unless people have actually dedicated managers? We need to go and ask whoever will be in charge of the project, will they be having a trouble into getting the work to go and be completed and cooperation if they don't have the full authority to be able to go and get the job done? If they will basically have a problem with getting the support, unless they have a team and they have in charge of a team to get the job done, then we need to go and get a dedicated project team that they will be in charge of, to be able to go and actually get the job to be completed. Sometimes, however, we could get cooperation without having dedicated teams. And if we can do that, we might actually go and rely on various matrix structures that would potentially help us to go and really get the job done. It could be, for example, an informal matrix structure that I mentioned earlier, a weak structure where you might have a functional manager who has more authority. You need to ask yourself how much innovation is really involved in that project. Can you guys see a lot of innovation here? Is there a lot of innovation in this project? What do you think?
I think no.
No. And if it's not, is it more like a manufacturing sort of project? Oh, what's that?
They have to manufacture the binocular.
So which department has more interest in this sort of project?
Manufacturing department.
Manufacturing. So what sort of structure can I use if manufacturing have more interest? What can I use? Something very simple. I can continue using my functional department, my manufacturing department. I'm going to say, you guys are now in charge of going and working on this project and delivering this project appropriately. Because it's already more like a manufacturing sort of company. And we might say, well, if they basically they don't do much innovation and they're not going to do a lot of innovation, well, why don't I simply get the functional department of manufacturing to go and continue working on this particular project? Does that make sense, guys? Any questions? So guys, we spoke about a number of structures here, but what I want you to go and bear in mind is when you are going to be choosing which structure you are going to be using, it's a lot of time very important to ask other questions. How important is this project for my company to be successful? What percentage of the core work is actually involved projects in that company? What level of resources, human and physical, are actually available? If the project is so important to the organizational success, then guess what? A dedicated project structure is one that is going to be very, very important. If there's a lot of work involving projects in the company, we might need to go and get dedicated teams. But if we don't have enough resources, so you know what, projects are important, but we don't have enough resources. So what are we going to do? We are going to be choosing a structure that is a metric structure that will allow me to basically both deliver the projects, as well as ensure my limited resources are going to be working on delivering the normal functional work that is really needed. When I speak about culture, I speak about, some norms, the shared norms, shared beliefs, shared values in an organization. All of these things that combine us together the way we think as an organization. It's really what we call the personality of the organization. It provides a sense of identity. Like when you go and say someone, I am a Google employee. What does I'm a Google employee actually mean? What's the culture of Google, guys? What's Google's company culture? What do you think? Kusal, what do you think? Don't be scared. Every answer is respected. When I tell you about the organizational culture of Google, when I say the name Google, what do you think? What comes to your mind? Do they have teamwork there? Can you guys hear me? Speak to me.
Yeah, they do have teamworks.
What do you
They
think?
are probably more professional than the others.
Okay, professional. So you would think about teamwork in that place. Do you think they might be collaborating together?
Yes, a lot.
Okay, do you think they are well organized?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, what else do you think? Do you think they care?
Flexible.
What's that? Flexible. Yep, absolutely. It's a flexible culture. Can you give me an example of that?
We can search anything anywhere. It's flexible to everybody.
Yeah, but also
Like
if you
that?
go and think about Google as a company, they are very flexible with their employees. They could come in the morning, they could come at night, they could go to the gym, they could sleep there. They have so much various ways of being flexible with their employees. So they offer flexibility. That's part of their culture. That's part of their DNA. Okay. What else? What do they do as Google? What's the main thing that Google do? What's that?
They also, I think, they reward the best employees, something like that.
Rewarding. So they basically value rewarding people. They value innovation. All of these are part of the culture of Google that you guys could think about as an example. So I want you to really bear that in mind. A number of characteristics need to go and be thought about when we're talking about organizational culture. There's actually 10 of them that I'm going to be talking about now. So I've mentioned about the determination, the primary characteristics that determine an organizational culture. I'm going to talk about 10 of them, as I said. The first one is a member identity. When you are as a person, you are as an employee, do you associate yourself with an organization, or do you associate yourself with your job? Do you say I'm a Google employee, or do you say, for example, I am an IT department employee? How do you go and really associate yourself? Another thing that goes and define the culture is a team emphasis. Does the organization emphasize working as part of a team and working as part of the groups, or does it more emphasize that we basically go and work individually to be able to go and really get the job done? And what about the management focus? Are they basically managing, when they make decisions, do they think, how is that decision going to be impacting on my employees, or do they not care about employees altogether? And they make a decision that they believe is going to be better for, let's say, the financial outcomes of the organization. What about the unit integration, the degree to which organizational departments are encouraged to speak with each other? communicate with each other, working together, instead of actually working in an independent manner, which is you do yourself and I do mine. Do they actually allow interdependence, departments working together all the time, or do they not actually go and value that and not actually go and really support it? What about the control, the degree to which rules, policies, and direct supervisions are used to oversee how the employee is behaving? But in other environments, we trust the employees and we say, we don't need to supervise them. We basically trust them that they are going to go and be doing the right thing. What about risk? Some organizations are happy to go and take risks to be able to go and make decisions. So they are aggressive, they are innovative, they are risk-taking. And some other departments, their culture is not very much risk-taking. It's actually risk-averse. They don't want to take a lot of risks when they're trying to go and do a particular outcome. Conflict tolerance, the degree to which employees are encouraged to go and have a conflict and openly discuss it. Some organizations say, no, you can't have conflict. You cannot discuss conflict. You're going to go and hide conflict. And that's really not the best approach for us to go and do things. What about reward? Some organizations reward employees based on their effort. Okay, some other ones basically, they don't look at the effort. They look about the seniority, how senior as a person, seniority. That's not really the best approach, but it depends on the organization. Some say, the older people, let's say, will get the best jobs and the best promotions. Some say, no, we're going to have no favoritism. We're going to have a culture where we go and reward whoever is going to really go and achieve the outcomes. Means versus the end orientation, the degree to which management focuses on outcomes rather than on techniques and processes used to achieve those results. I remember there was an issue with the newspapers in the UK in the past where they were found to go and be tapping on the phones of politicians in order for them to be able to go and have news stories. That was illegal. So this company, they did not, they were not ethical. They did not really care about how they are getting that information, because for them, it was more about, we need the story at any cost, and that means doing the wrong thing is actually acceptable. Open system focus, the degree to which the organization monitors what's happening outside in the external environment and respond to what is happening accordingly in terms of the work that they go and do. So this is so many various, if you want, characteristics that go and determine the culture that does exist in a particular organization. Now, the organizations that actually go and support project management are more toward, member identity. People associate with the organization more. They emphasize more on teamwork. They basically have, they think about people. They are people focused. They think about interdepending and letting the departments work well together. They give the people more control to be able to decide how things gets done. They are highly tolerating the risks. They are basically rewarding people based on their performance, not based on their seniority. They encourage conflict and openly discussing the conflict without affecting negatively the projects. They basically, they want you to achieve results, but they want you to also make sure you're doing it in an ethical manner. So they are more balanced there. And they have a lot of an open system focus. In other words, they look at what's happening in the environment and they try to keep on finding new ways for them to go and actually work to deliver new things within the organization. It's very, very challenging for a manager to be able to go and work across many cultures. It's not easy for the project manager. The project manager has to go and actually interact with many people. They have, the culture in the actual team, the subcultures into other departments, and even in each department, you might have more than one culture. Like, for example, guys, how many people here are from Nepal? Who's from Nepal? Anyone not from Nepal? Okay, I can see Shrishti.
Yeah, I'm not from Nepal.
Who's that, Mohammed?
Sairam.
Sairam, where are you from, Sairam?
India.
India, okay. Mohammed, are you from Pakistan?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Pakistan.
so I have Muhammad from Pakistan. I have Sairam from India. I have many people from Nepal. So imagine I am the project manager managing all, all of you. What does that mean? That means I'm going to be having more need to go and interact with people of different cultures. And in terms of my team might have one culture, but each one of you as a group might have a subculture. I have to learn your subcultures and how do I go and deal with you. So a project manager have to deal with the culture of the team, with the subcultures within a team, with the cultures in the client organization. You have a client asking you to go and do a job. You have to go and actually look at the culture of the organizations that are connected to the project. It could be government department. It could be other suppliers who need to go and work with you. So it is challenging to know about all of these various cultures we need to go and know about and work with in order for us to be able to go and really reach the outcomes we would like to go and really reach. So it is not easy, guys. It's about how do we create all of that engagement to be able to reach those outcomes. Now, I'm going to give you this activity. Have a read. You can take a picture also if you want to. So you work as an analyst in the marketing department. Just give me the thumbs up once you finish reading. All right, are we finished? Just give me a thumbs up if you're done, guys. All right, thank you, Tasmia. Anyone else? Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, Niraj. Sairam, Shrishti, have you done that? Are you finished? Yeah, thank you, Shrishti. What about Sairam? All right, perfect. Thank you, Sairam. All right, guys, so that's the first thing. Now, let me ask you a question here. I spoke to you earlier about the weak metrics. Can you tell me who is more in power in the weak metrics? Is it the project manager or is it the functional manager? All right, thank you very much for the answer in the chat, Trishti. Yep, you're correct. The functional manager has more power in this example as a weak metrics. That's 100% correct rather than a project manager. Now let's read through that. And I want you to start thinking about that question individually. I want you to start thinking about it and start giving me your responses. But I'm going to give you again, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to think about it before you start giving me your responses. I'm going to just put the time now. And I'll give you 3 minutes to read it before you start thinking about the answers. So gonna move now and let's think about it and get some answers, please. Thank you. All right, guys. So now you've read the scenario and I gave you 3 minutes to think about it. How would you guys respond? How would you respond? Come on, guys, don't be scared. What do you think? Mohammed, how would you respond? Someone speaking to you like that. Don't be scared. Tell me.
Yeah, I have been working in a bank, sir. So I have done few workshops. So they told me if something happened like that, if your boss is taking something personally, like I'm not happy with you, the level of help I'm getting from you, this and that. So you can do the whistle blow. Like he's your boss, so he cannot take anything personally. Like when I will be the boss, so I will take care of you. Then I will look after you, what you are doing now. So this and that. So I will whistle blow and I will just say him okay, and I will let the other boss know about that, what I can do.
Okay, so you say, you know what? Why are you threatening me? I'm going to go and speak to my manager. You should not be speaking to me like this.
Yeah.
Something like, is this a threat? I do not respond well to threats. I'm going to go and tell the manager about you.
Sorry.
So it's like you're saying, is this a threat? I don't respond well to threats. I'm going to go and speak to the manager because you are threatening me. So you're going to go and basically whistleblow and say, we shouldn't, you know, why are you treating me like this? I don't accept the way you're bullying me. That's inappropriate. You're going to basically whistleblow to deal with that issue.
Yeah, obviously, because he's clearly mentioned that when I will be the VP, so I will see you. So
I will
it's a
see you,
threat.
mate. I will see you when I'm the VP, you know, like, wait
Yeah.
for me.
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. Anybody else have a different way to deal with the issue? So Muhammad's way is going to go and create direct conflict, you know, between you and him. It's going to basically have a full-on trying to go and deal with the issue. Anybody else would deal with the issue in a different manner? Tasmia?
I will analyze the type of work he has given, the project manager has given. If it's too highly important, I might do the things he said, but as he had threatened me, and he's just an employee like me, because in a weak matrix, a project manager is just an employee, and there is another boss who is this functional manager. I'll discuss about the threat, and I'll discuss why he threatened me to work more on that particular project, if that project is that important to the company or not. If so, I might agree to that and go with the project manager, because if that is more important for the company, I will do the job, he said. But still, he has threatened me. That is not considerable.
Oh, fair enough. But what you would say, you'd say something, you know, like, look, I'm sorry that you're not happy. I'm going to go and have a look at your project again, see how important it is for the organization. And I'll try to see what I can do. But at the same time, you will also discuss it with your manager, but you will try to see whether you can help him. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I might help him. But his leadership style is very poor.
Very poor. All right. So I guess that's right. So one person might say, I'm really sorry. I'll see what I can do. One person might say, you know, I don't respond well to threats. One person might say, look, can you please tell me any particular examples where I was not actually going and helpful to you? I'll see what I can do. Regardless of any of this, what you need to kind of ask yourself individually, those questions. You should ask yourself, how likely is it that this particular person who is very, very controlling might become the vice president of marketing? That's the first question, because it might be very likely that might actually go and happen. You also need to ask yourself, if that person becomes a VP of marketing, do I actually want to be working for this company and be controlled by this guy? You also want to ask yourself this question, is, would my manager be able to go and protect me? If you can't get the protection, if you want to work for that company, if that person become a manager, if you know that that person is very likely to become a vice president of marketing, then you will go and ask yourself the following. You say, you know what, it might be wise for me, because I want to stay in that company, and because my manager can't protect me, and because I want to go and actually make sure I work with that person who is likely to become a vice president of marketing, I will do everything in my power to go and support that person, solve that problem, to be able to go and ensure I'm going to go and resolve that conflict with that particular person. But you're right, there's more than one way for us to be able to go and deal with that particular issue. And it's about asking ourselves this question and finding the way for us to be able to go and solve it accordingly. Does that make sense, guys? Are we all clear? Thank you,
Yes.
Mohammed. Perfect. Thank you, Tasmia. Saifram Shushti, Niraj. Fidak, are you here? Okay. Alrighty, let's go and continue, guys. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do you have any question about this first chapter?
Sir, what you reckon? What we should do at that situation?
I think, my friend, you should actually go and look at the circumstances. You know, some person, for example, might be very controlling, but you know that that person will have no impact on you, not now and not in the future, and you will still be protected from by the manager, and people are happy from your work. So if I believe that doing that task is going to go and impact on my performance and make people and my managers unhappy, I won't go and actually abide by it, and I won't go and offer the help. I'll say, I'll see what I can do, but I'll need to discuss it with my manager, because he is my boss and he is the one who guides me on what I need to go and work on at any point of time. In the contrast, if my manager doesn't have the say, doesn't have the power, and if you know, that person is very much political and have a very strong connection with important people in the business, I'll probably will go and support him in whatever he needs, because by me supporting him, that means I can go and actually also advance my own career.
Okay, sir.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any other questions, my friends?
In exam, we will get like this kind of thing, or like a theory-based question?
I will never ever ask you a theory-based questions. I always ask you, you know, the only sort of theory that I might ask you is calculations. But any question that I go and ask you, this is a postgraduate course. A lot of my questions require your understanding, requires you explaining and sharing your point of view and talking in details, rather than basically citing theory for me. Okay, that's why I tell you guys to come to the lecture, come to the tutorial, because without your presence, you can't learn how to answer these sort of things. You can't learn the details that I want you to go and answer. And if you, for example, don't learn the calculations, you won't do well in your exams. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so we will get like this question in the exam, like
so a question like this might be in the exam, yes. You're very welcome. Anyone else? Alrighty. Now, this is the second chapter. And this chapter, after this chapter, you are able to start working on your assignment immediately. So I do not request and recommend you delay working on your assignment. This is the time to start working on that assignment immediately. So what I'm going to do now for you, it's a very, very fitting timing for me to go to the Moodle side, because what I'm going to do now on Moodle is I'm going to go and open Moodle. I'm going to go and show you I'm going to go now activate 3 assignments, sample assignments from the past, because now I want you to start working on your assignment. So I'm going to show all 3 sample assignments here. So if you guys are now going to my subject as a student, you'll be able to go and see that there's subject outline. You'll be able to see 3 sample assignments that you can actually go and rely on to start working on your actual group assignment. I am loading it now for you because you cannot wait for later in the semester to start working on your assignment. It's a very, very long assignment. If you're going to go and wait till the end, you won't do well in it. If you start working on it now, slowly, with what I'm covering for you every week, you will be able to do much, much better. You also would notice that the tutorial answers from last week is loaded there for you now. I've delayed loading it intentionally to give you the chance to be able to work on those activities. And I'll probably be doing the same every week. I'll be loading potentially more solutions for you. So just bear in mind that that's now available for you. And, you know, you could rely on that document to be able to start working on your assignment, including some of the activities we are going to be working on today in the tutorial. Now we're going to talk about defining project, and next week, yes, we're going to start with all the calculations, and I'll be using something like, I'm going to show you this. Where is it? I usually could load a board for you. Well, I'm going to try to see if I can potentially try to load potentially a board for you where we are able to go and discuss things, but it's not actually appearing at the moment for some reason. Anyway, I'll look at that at a later stage, and I'll see if I can actually go and try to insert a board. But bottom line, we're going to start doing some calculations next week. We're going to discuss very detailed those calculations. I'm going to give you the chance to potentially see me working on you know, some tools. For example, what I might do is I might open. I have one of my tools here. I might go and open that tool next week, and yep, so just miscellaneous. Standard. All right, I might go next week, for example, and share this tool for you. So what this tool does, it gives me the ability to go and potentially make some drawings. You know, if I would like to go and do the text, I could, you know, potentially go and, you know, have text, have boxes. I could, you know, move potentially, you know, some shapes. Where's the shape? Shape's actually not appearing for some reason. But anyway, look, what I could do drawings here. I could create like a table. I could, you know, create more than one button for us to be able to go and draw. I don't know why it's not actually appearing now, but there's, there are many shapes that I'm usually able to go and insert. Probably it's the actual sort of drawing that I'm making that. But I'll show you next week. I'm going to create some drawings for you. We're going to be able to go, and when I'm teaching you the calculation, I'll try to show you all of those drawings live, and I'll try to kind of make you do them in front of you so that we are able to go and you know, get you to really go and applying what I would like you to go and learn. I don't want it to be like something you haven't done before. That's very, very important for me to ensure that you are learning how to do things in an appropriate manner. That's, for example, a part of the box. I might then go and actually try to insert text into any of these boxes. So if I would like to go, you know, I can create, for example, one box here, one box there. I can create a link between boxes. I can, create various arrows that you guys could see. So you can see an arrow link here. I can create another box here. I can then create, another link. So you'll be seeing me creating a lot of these calculations next week. And the reason why I'll be doing those calculations, because I want to make sure I help you to go and learn the drawings and the calculations that you guys are expected to go and do for your final exam and for your midterm. So make sure you are here, make sure you are engaged to be able to go and do those calculations. I'm going to move back to what I'm doing. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go and identify the key elements of a project scope statement and understand why a complete scope statement is critical to be able to get project success. We're going to talk about a work breakdown structure, and we say, why is a work breakdown structure really important? Guys, a work breakdown structure is one that is foundational for you guys to be able to go and do your detailed planning and to be able to get a good plan and good budget for your assignment. This group assignment requires you to go and do a very detailed work breakdown structure, which includes every single activity that we need to go and work on in order for us to be able to go and really achieve the outcomes we would like to go and achieve. If you do not go and create a detailed work breakdown structure, you will find yourself having an issue where you are unable to go and create a well-proven budget and a well-proven plan. So you have many examples of work breakdown structure and of plans in the 3 examples that I gave you. Your task after today is to read the assignment requirements and to start working on creating a project charter and to start working on creating a work breakdown structure, which really highlights all the tasks and subtasks that must be completed for that particular project to go and be completed. To be able to define the project, which is one of the foundational things we need to go and do, we need to define what is the scope of the project. We need to establish the priorities of the project. We need to create a work breakdown structure. We need to integrate a work breakdown structure with the organization. We need to code the work breakdown structure for the information system that is really available in our organization. Now, I'm going to start talking about these steps. The first step is we need to understand the scope of the project. Anybody could tell me in simple words, what is a project scope? What is a project scope?
The main goal of the project.
Exactly what we are going to be doing, what's in the project and what's out of this project. It's really a definition of the end result or the mission of the project. It could be a product, it could be a service for the client, for the customer. We need to describe it in a specific terms, in tangible terms, and in measurable terms, measurable. So we need to be very clear by thinking about what are we trying to go and do, what's in scope and what is out of scope. Why do we do a project scope? Because we want to clearly define what are we going to be delivering for the end user. What are we trying to get out there? That's the most important thing. The focus is on successful completion of the goals that has been planned that we would like to go and do. We need to use the scope statement by the project owner and by the participants as a planning tool, and for us to measure, have we actually delivered to the owner what they actually requested that we go and actually do for them. We need to go and prove that we've delivered what needed to go and be delivered. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what is specifically included in the project scope statement? Well, we have a project objective. What are we trying to achieve? We have the deliverables. What are we going to deliver? We have the milestones. What are the major achievements we would like to go and achieve? What's the technical requirements relating to my project? What's limits? What's the exclusion? What's in the project and what is out of the project in terms of what we need to go and do? And reviews with the customer. Who is going to be reviewing the work that we're doing to tell us whether or not they are actually happy with what we are actually went and what we've delivered to the customer. So these are items that needs to go and be included as part of the checklist. Could you please take a picture of those? Take a picture of those items. Alrighty.
Yeah, done.
Perfect. Now, when we are second thing, we need to go and establish the priorities. You know, the priorities is we need to deliver the project mainly within time, within cost, and within specifications. But there's also a fourth one that is not mentioned here, which I might ask you about sometimes in the exam. It's about also ensuring we are achieving not simply within the scope, but also within a quality that is going to make my customer happy. These priorities will change. You know, sometimes we might say we want to constrain a parameter. So if I say I am constraining the budget, means my cost is fixed. I can't give you more money. If I say I want to enhance the budget, means, I gave you a budget, but I would like you to go and try to see whether you can save me some money. Optimize as a criteria over another. I would like you to try to enhance the budget to be able to go and save me some money. Or I would like you to go and enhance the schedule by finishing the actual project a bit more quicker. Accept is a third thing that we need to go and bear in mind in terms of the criteria. Accept is about reducing or not meeting a criteria requirement. I accept that the cost might go and increase by 50%. I accept it, that's fine. I accept that the time might take longer for me to go and get the project to be completed. So that's when I talk about the project priorities we need to go and really think about and bear in mind. You look here, cost, time, scope, and I told you about the fourth one, the quality that we need to go and really deliver. It needs to be delivered within a particular quality. So within time, within cost, within the performance expected, and within a target. Target is a lot of time about that quality that is basically going to make sure that the client is going to be happy with. You should be able to define your project by stating these objectives from the beginning to be able to ensure you manage to go and deliver them. Guys, can you tell me, what does this tell me? What, like, if you read this slide, what is it telling you? What is this graph telling you? Come on, guys. All right, guys. Niraj? Niraj, can you hear me?
Yeah.
What does this slide tell you? What does enhanced time mean?
It's in second priority or?
Yeah, well, it's saying let's enhance the time. So these are the priorities of a project. It's saying enhance the time. And saying the performance constrain it. What does constrain the performance means?
Limit.
Yeah, means I need to
distance.
deliver that performance. I need to constrain it and deliver that performance that is expected. What does enhance the time means?
Manage it well.
Yeah, it means, you know, I want you to try to finish earlier.
Yeah.
What does accept the cost mean?
Cost can be higher or lower.
Cost could be higher than what we basically anticipated. And I am going to go and really accept that the cost might go and be higher. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
Guys, everybody make sense? You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Guys, you are in charge of organizing a dinner dance concert for a local charity. You have reserved a hall that will seat 30 couples and have hired a jazz combo. I would like you to go and develop a project scope statement that contains examples of all the elements. Assume that the event will occur in 4 weeks and provide your best guess estimate of the date of the for milestones. What would the priority likely be for this project? So I want you to go and work on this activity. I want one person to be opening and sharing a document with the group. And I would like basically the other people to be able to go and be contributing to that. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. And actually, before I do that, I'm gonna say just take a picture of that before I stop sharing the screen. Are you done, guys? Are we done? Thumbs up. All right, thank you, Niraj. Anyone else done?
So,
Alrighty. All right, guys. So I'm gonna now stop sharing my screen. And I would like to go, can I please put, Niraj, could you please lead this activity?
Yeah, but how?
Okay, I want you to share your screen with us, open a Word document and share your Word document with us. Perfect. I want you to create a table now. Okay, so create a table. So you know what your assignment is. Yep, create maybe 2 rows. Sorry, 2 columns. Delete 1 column. Two columns, sorry, only 2 columns. Yep, that's it. Yeah, that's all right. That's okay. Select that. Okay, write, so we need to write a few things. Write project objective. Okay, second one, deliverables, milestones. So these things that we need to go and really discuss. Okay, no, on the first column only, underneath it. Yep. Deliverables, underneath it, milestone, underneath it. So maybe only focus on the first 3, just these 3 items. Work with your team to be able to go and fill the 3 components of that work that I want you to go and create. So I want you to go and create the scope statement by commenting on these 3 particular items. Does that make sense? Are we clear?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll give you 5 minutes, guys, to start thinking about this activity and working together on that. Please, everybody engage in it and show me what you've done. I'm going to pause the recording for now. So you said we need 60K to be delivered. What else do we need? What do we need to deliver?
Performer.
Performer.
Singer.
So you need
Singer. Yep.
you need the singers. Okay. What else do we need to deliver? Where is the singer going to sing?
See,
In a
Stage.
In a
stage.
stage. So what do you need then? You need the stage. Okay, what else? Where is that stage going to be?
Hall.
In a hall. So I need to go and have a hall. Okay, we said we are going to be delivering the dinner dance for the charity. Is that the objective? Is that the specific objective?
Yeah, for the charity, isn't
No,
it?
it's not very specific. You need to conduct a dinner dance. Okay, great. For how many couples?
Oh, 30.
30.
For 30 couples. When do you need it by?
For 4 weeks.
Okay. At what budget? So you see, you want to deliver something more specific. I want to conduct a dinner dance party for a charity by having 30 couples and delivering it in 4 weeks, and maximum budget of whatever, $4,000, whatever it is. But you need to be specific into your objectives. You need to talk about them in particular details. What is a milestone?
What we did in certain time.
Yeah, tell me something very important that was done. So
Reserve a hall and the catering.
Rent the hall. Rent the hall is one milestone. That's correct.
Yeah,
So that's stop. Rent the hall. That's one milestone.
And catering, reserve, like booking.
Reserve the catering. 100%. That's another milestone.
And performance, booking for performance.
Book the performance. Okay. That's another one. What about sell the tickets? Is selling your tickets a milestone?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the sort of things that I want you to go and bear in mind when you're talking about, the project. If we think, for example, we can think about the technical requirements. For example, the hall must have enough space to put the 30 tables, for example, and must have enough space for a dance floor. There should be convenient, parking available for all the people who are going to go and attend. There should be infrastructure and a stage available there for us. Meals should include vegetarian options for people who only eat vegetarian meals. So how you go specific. You might say, okay, I have my limit and exclusion. What's the exclusion? I will only cater for a maximum of 30 people. Ticket price must be at least $50 for us to generate the profit. The event must be between 7 o'clock and 12 o'clock. So you have all of these limit and exclusions we need to go and really bear in mind. And finally, we have the review. Who is going to be reviewing my work? Who is going to be agreeing on my plan? Who will agree with me? Who will say, yeah, no problem, let's go with that? Who am I doing this function for?
Or
for local charity.
For charity. So who needs to go and review my work?
Local people.
Yes, someone who works for the charity. The charity's manager, the one who's authorizing me. I need to tell them what I'm doing for them to be able to go and do the job that I want them to go and do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, great. I'm going to be loading all of these solutions for you probably towards early next week, so that I'll give you the chance to work on any activities we did not have a chance to go and work on, and there will be some that you'll have to be doing later. But I'm going to go and now share my screen again. Thank you very much for your contribution, guys. It's very, very good. Your example was very good. Guys, what do you think is a priority here? Is time a priority? Do we constrain the time? What do you think? Do we constrain the time? Do we enhance the time? Can we deliver the function early?
No, it's
No.
on 4 weeks.
We need to
There
constrain
is a
the time.
specific time.
Okay, great. What about the budget?
There is a maximum limit of budget.
Okay, so this is the sort of thing you need to bear in mind. What am I constraining? What is constrained? What can change? For example, in this example, time is constrained. If scope does change, we might go and accept it. And usually when I talk about costs, we are usually trying to enhance the cost to make it as cheap as we can do for the client to go and really be happy. So you need to bear in mind what are the priorities, because things might change on the project and we need to be able to go and deal with all of those changes. Any questions? Alrighty. Now we need to go and talk about the work break and structure. So the work break and structure is the other concept I would like to go and talk about it. The work break and structure is simply about thinking about everything that needs to go and be completed and done to be able to go and get a project done. So I'm going to go and share an example to make things very, very simple for you. And I'm going to create an example that you guys could easily relate to. So what is that example? I'll show you that now. So if I go and look here, let's talk about your degree. And let's say your degree is the end result. So earn KOI postgraduate degree. If that is your main goal, guys, to be able to reach that main goal, what do you need to do?
First, enroll in the subjects.
Okay, so which subjects? How many?
16.
Okay, so complete subject 1, complete subject 2,
And so on.
4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 11. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So imagine that's my first goal, 1, that's my main goal. To be able to get that main goal, I have to do that second goal. And then I have to do this goal and then this goal. Okay, do you get the point? Does that make sense? Now, I'm not going to continue, but just you get what I'm saying, yes?
Yes.
Okay, now one of those subjects is called what?
Project management.
Project
management. Okay.
Project management.
To finish project management, what do you need to do?
Complete quiz, attempt quiz.
Which quiz?
Pass all subject like
Quiz week 4.
week 7.
7.
Midterm
Midterm week.
Midterm week 6.
Group assignment. Is it week 10 or week? I think it's week 10 or week 11. I think week 10. And then
Final
exam.
okay, great. Whatever, week 16. To be able to do well in quiz 4, what do you need to do?
Attend class from 1 to 4.
You have to attend
1 to
class.
Class 1. What do you
1 to
need to do
3.
after you attend class 1? Take notes. Revise class 1.
tutorial
2.
attendance.
Take notes. Revise class 2. Sit exam. And then after that, what would have happened? Quiz week 4 complete.
Completed.
That quiz time for week 4 complete, is that something that consumes time, or is it just to tell me that something has been achieved?
Yeah, it doesn't include time. It's
Okay,
just
so
a milestone.
It's a milestone. So anything that doesn't include time is basically a milestone. So that's my milestone here. All of these things will consume time. To attend the class, you will need time. To take notes, you will need time. To revise, you will need time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
You notice how I'm moving from the goal, the project, to the sub-project, to the tasks in each sub-project, to the activities that I need to do in each project in order for me to be able to go and get the job done. If I go and say, imagine that's an activity. If I go and say attend the class is, let's say I'm going to say it's going to be attended by Siram. Okay, so let's say this is a job. Let's say I'm assigning Siram to this activity. And let's say this activity takes 1 day. And let's say I pay Siram $100 per day because this is imagine an activity. I know straight away that by this day one, I need $100 to be employing to complete that activity on time. I need $100 because I'm assigning a particular employee for that particular activity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when you are trying to create a work breakdown structure, what you are creating is you are looking at your project, whatever that project is called, and you are looking at every main activity that needs to be completed, and you are looking at every sub activity, and you're looking at the tasks that we need to go and do to be able to go and get the job done. If you look at the sample assignments I've loaded for you guys on Moodle, you'll be able to see very detailed work breakdown structure. Now, a good work breakdown structure is one that specifically comment on what I have included in the actual subject outline, because I clearly and specifically discuss particular things about the project. Do not use general terms when you're trying to go and give me some assignment information. I need specific terms to go and to be given to me. I needed to go into so much details with all of these work breakdown structure, because once you do the work breakdown structure and details, you can actually allocate people and time to each activity, and you'll be able to know how much your overall project is going to actually be costing. And that's where I was telling you about getting a very detailed plan and a very detailed budget, but that won't be created unless you create the work breakdown structure like the one that I'm showing you here. Does that make sense? Is that clear, guys?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now you guys are ready to start working on your group assignment, because what I'm doing now is I'm going to be allocating you to a group now. So I'm gonna stop recording for a second. So I gave you guys some examples of creating work breakdown structure. I told you how we're going to start with the objective and then the sub-objective and then the task that needs to be completed for the job to go and be done. The work breakdown structure is really a hierarchical outline that identifies the products and work elements involved in a particular project. It defines a relationship of the final deliverable to all the sub-deliverables, and in turn the relationship to work packages, like the relationship between getting the degree, to doing every subject, to doing the tasks that needs to be done to be able to get the project completed. For example, if I want to go and build a slim tablet, I need hardware, I need CPU, and I need more items. For the hardware, I need so many of them: frame, camera, speakers, antenna. For the frame, I have to do work package 1, which is mean I need to complete a task to get the frame ready. For the camera, I have 4 work packages, which mean I have to do 4 jobs to be able to get the job done. And all of these jobs, it's the same as what I showed you: first level, second level, third level, fourth level. So actually first, second, third, fourth, and then fifth level, and then even sixth level. So you create more than one section of the work breakdown structure. The work breakdown structure goes to the lowest task. It defines the work, what needs to be completed. And eventually, when you start going to details, it basically identifies the time needed to complete each work package. It basically knows who's going to be doing that work package, because then I can know how much is it going to cost me. So the cost and how much. It basically identifies who is responsible. It identifies monitoring points for measuring success. I need to keep on measuring, am I actually able to go and deliver what needs to go and really be delivered at any particular point of time. So we really need to go and think about that particular item, about what really needs to go and really be completed. So it's very important you think about the work breakdown structure accordingly. We think about the organizational work breakdown structure, which is really about linking the work breakdown structure to which department within the organization is going to be doing particular activities in the work breakdown structure. They basically really link together, and it's about really thinking, how do I actually link those particular things at the same time? When I actually link them together, I am able to really know which organizational unit will be doing a job, where am I going to be charging the money relating to that particular job. So you start allocating things to organizational department, which is, for example, one way how I was actually having to go and monitor budgeting in one of the organizations where I've worked. Every department had to go and have a allocated budget. They called it a work center, and you basically bill all of these costing to a particular bill center that we try to go and really do. We need to go and code the work breakdown structure, level 1, level 2, level 3, and that basically enabled me to go and start even going to the more detailed things. But if I go and show you, this is an example: level 1, level 2, level 3, and in the details. Now you can see slim, tablet, hardware, camera. Look here, slim tablet, hardware, you see here, camera. And I can even go further. What can I put under camera, guys? So level 1 is slim, level 2 is hardware, and then we put the camera. What can I put underneath the camera? What do I put underneath here? Niraj, Muhammad?
Lens used or what?
What do I put underneath? No, you see, what is this? To get the camera, what do I need to do? I need to do this work package.
Components. What are those?
You see WP, can you see it? That means a work package. I need to do the first work package, which is a job that I need to do. I need to do another work package. I need to do a third work package. I need to do a fourth work package. So underneath in my work breakdown structure, I could put underneath the camera, I could put work package 1, work package 2, work package 3, work package 4. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
And then after that, what can I do to the work package? This is a job. What can I do with a job to know how much it's going to cost me? Who will do the job? A human being will need to do the job, yes?
Yes, sir. We will hire a person and pay him.
Yeah, so you will put a person, you will assign a person to a job. And when you assign the person, can you know how much a job is going to cost you? If I say Fadi is working on this work package and I pay Fadi $100 per day, and I know this package will require 1 day, can we know how much the work package is going to cost me?
Yes, we will have estimates.
It's going to have estimate of $100 because Fadi does the job. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So when you're going to go and create a work breakdown structure, I want you to get to the details, to get to all of these sub levels, which can be having people assigned to them, because when you assign the people, we can get the budget, and that's really how you can get the good plan and the good budget for your assignment. Does that make sense? Is that clear, guys?
Yeah.
Great. Now, I'm going to give you this very quick activity. I'll give you 5 minutes for it. I'm not going to basically give a lot of time, but I want you to guys, I'm going to get someone of you to share the screen, but take a picture of this. A business investor has reached out to a number of school teachers to open a new school tutoring center. The investor have a very good knowledge in business, but he does not have a good knowledge about opening a tutoring center. As a group, I want you to develop a work breakdown structure to establish this business. So what is the main objective, guys, here? What's the main objective?
New school tutoring center.
What's that? Can you repeat, please? What are we trying to do? What's the goal here?
To open a
Op-
new school tutoring
Open a new
center.
school.
So we want to open a tutoring center.
Yeah.
Okay. There are so many things we need to do to open a tutoring center, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you think about one of these things?
Space, building.
Okay, so find a location. That's one thing. Okay, I want
Yeah.
you to create a work breakdown structure for two main things that needs to be done and all the work packages. So the activities that we need to go and do to open that tutoring center. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
If you say space, what are the activities that need to be done to be able to get the space? Can we assign people later to those activities so that we can know how much it's going to go and actually cost me? So I'm going to give you for that activity 5 minutes to see what you guys are going to be doing. Your time is starting now, guys. So I'm going to stop recording, stop sharing my screen. You guys could be able to have one person sharing the screen. You guys could have that discussion with that person. So let's, I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, who would like to share the screen? Who's going to share the screen now? All right, Neeraj.
Neeraj.
All right, guys. So could you please engage with Neeraj and let's just try to see how we're going to go and create a work breakdown structure.
Hello, everyone.
So work is to open a new
Yeah, we'll be opening a new.
tutoring center, new
Okay.
school.
Neeraj, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Go underneath this because we're not actually creating a charter or a scope here. We're creating the work breakdown structure. So go underneath number 7. You know point number 7 you have in the Word document?
No, what is that?
You have point, you know, you have the Word document. Go to the Word document.
What document?
Yeah.
Yeah, in here. Okay.
Yeah, go under 7
Mhm.
Sucks.
and then start and saying 1 is Open Tutoring Center.
Oh,
Okay. And let's start think about 3 main activities needed to open a tutoring center. So underneath it, 1.1. Yeah, okay, that's fine. A is fine. What is the main activity as a group? What are they?
Infrastructure like land and
So find a location.
location.
Okay. So find and lease location. Okay, that's fine.
find and lease land and
What else?
build.
Teacher qualified like good teachers or
Okay, so recruit qualified teachers. Okay, what else? So if I want to go, guys, now and open a tutoring center, can I just go and find the closest shop and just rent it?
from authorization from the government or
Okay, government authorization, yeah. Put that. How am I going to go and get students?
advertisement.
Marketing.
Marketing. All right, that's fine. Let's go now. Let's go to that example where you say, I want to go and recruit qualified teachers. Okay. Go underneath that. Okay. Tell me, how am I going to go and recruit? And what's the first thing I need to do?
Vacancy announcement.
Well, before that, I need to know something else.
Mm,
I need
What-
to identify job
What
duties.
job duties?
Okay.
Yes.
So maybe develop job duties. Then what do I need to do after?
announce a vacancy.
Yeah, right. Well, I need to write an ad, write and post an ad.
Sorry.
You need to write and post an ad. So you need to post an advertisement. And then after that, what do I need to do?
Interview.
Interview.
Shortlist.
Before interview, yeah, shortlist. Shortlist the actual interviewees. And then I need to interview.
Interviewing the shortlisted
And then after that,
individuals.
what do I do after I interview?
Find the best.
I need to select the
Select
people.
the
Select the
best.
Yeah. And then what else?
Then we need to hire
Appointment
them.
later.
No,
Hire them.
before you
like-
hire them, I have to go and actually get referencing,
Oh yeah.
source referencing. And then after that, I need to issue a contract.
Mm.
And after that, they need to go and actually accept the contract. And then after that, my job is completed. You notice how many tasks needs to go and be done? So it's not as simple as just, let's go and actually go and do a very simple thing. There's a lot more involved than just simply just get a job done. Like there's so much for me to go and think about. Does that make sense, guys? Do you understand?
Yes.
And that's the sort of things I want you to think about when it comes to creating the work breakdown structure for your assignment. Okay? You will not be able to do a good job unless you go and really spend the time to be able to go and look at what has been asked in your subject outline. And then from there, you start working on your assignment. But I want you to start working on your assignment now, not later, now. Is that clear?
Yeah.
After you create these tasks, who can I assign to these tasks?
HR.
People. And if I put people, do I know how much it's going to cost me? Do I know the schedule? Do I know start time and end time? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
That's how you create the plan and you create the budget. Now, I'm going to share my screen to show you my own example. You know, registering a business is one thing we need to do, recruiting students, recruiting employees, selecting the location, designing the office, buying a furniture, marketing the business. You know, so many things need to be completed. And you can see how I'm having milestones. And you can see here, okay, registering a business, I need to speak to the accountant. I need to apply for an ABN. I need to go and register with ASIC. I need to whatever do extra. And then finally, my business account goes and becomes registered. So you need to go and think about all of these main things and sub things that needs to go and really be completed. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right. So I want you to start working on your assignment, guys, now, but this is just in summary. I'm actually going to go a bit quickly with what's remaining. We're not going to have time for one more activity, but that's why I'm going to go and be posting the results of that, the answers next week. And that's why I want you to spend the time to try to engage in that activity yourself to learn. We need to create a project communication plan, which involve asking what information needs to be collected and when does the information need to be collected. We need to ask, when will we receive the information? We need to ask what methods will be used to gather and store information. We need to ask what are the limits, if any, on who has access to that information. When will the information be communicated? How will the information be communicated? All of these are very important things when I'm trying to generate a way for me to go and really communicate with the organization. So what information, target, when, method, provider, we need to think about all of these things. So what information? For example, there's a milestone report. That's the information. Who am I going to give it to? Senior management and project manager. When? Bi-monthly. How are we going to communicate? Email and hard copy. Who is the provider? The project office is going to be providing that particular information. Again, the other information, project status and report and agendas, staff and customer, is a target audience when? On a weekly basis. We're going to give them email and hard copy. We have a project manager. So you need to look at all of these particular ways for us to be able to go and insert a way of communicating with the right people whenever they want me to communicate, with the method they're going to go on get, with the method they want me to communicate, and I have to have a particular providers of that information at any particular point of time. Now, this is an extra activity that we won't have time to go and really do, but that's an activity that I'm not going to simply go and put an answer for it. I want you to go and have a read through it before I put the answers out there next week. It's basically about opening your tutorial document and reading the case one, which is called Horizon Consulting. Once done, I want you to go and answer those questions now individually because we won't have time to do it in a group. And the question is, how successful was the post meeting? What factors contributed to the success or failure of this meeting? What kind of project management structure does Horizon use? Is the right structure? Is it the right structure or is it not? Explain why do you believe it's the right structure, or why do you believe it is actually not the most appropriate structure? Now, ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions for me at all? Any questions at all? Tell me.
Can we add one more member in our group, because she's in our group in another subject as well, and she wants to join our group in this project management also.
Niraj, the way that I can actually allocate the group, the minimum group members I can have is 3, and the maximum group members I can have are 4. And at the moment, I only have 9 people enrolled in the subject. So the only way I can actually assign the groups at the moment is by having 3 people, 3 people, 3 people. If there are more people that enroll in the subject than the track, that will create an ability for me to enroll people in your group. But at this stage, because I only have 9 people, I can only allocate a maximum of 3 people per group.
Okay, I got my answer.
Right? But as I said, if we might get more people enrolling in a subject, and if I get more people, I'll have no problem in allocating that person that they want to enroll. I have no problem allocating them to the group.
All right, thank you.
No problem, mate. Any other questions? Anybody else? Guys, thank you very much for coming today. Please review the lecture slides and any tutorial materials and notes that you've taken. Please read chapters 3 and 4 and start preparing for your quiz and midterm exams. I repeat, they are in week 4 and week 6. Now, I repeat, from next week, I'm going to be having a lot of calculations. If you're not in the classroom, it will go and actually make your ability to pass the subject much more difficult, much more harder. I dare to say people who don't actually come to those classes are more likely to expect between 0 and between 3/15 on the midterm exam, because it's all calculations that you need to go and demonstrate you are able to go and do. So it's very, very important you attend. Do not forget that. I really hope you listen to that, and I hope to continue being here present to continue supporting you to get the right outcomes. I just want to summarize by saying thank you very kindly for all your time and effort. I really care about you. I want to continue guiding you. I want you to go and attend, and I want you to be the best people you could be. I thank you for all your hard work and look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you very much for your time.